a red tent house
Mm-hmm.
near a forest. It's like a little cottage
Oh, okay.
where women can go to and connect with themselves, with women, other women, and spirit.
So this is where you go to connect with others?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. How does it look on the inside?
Red.
It's all red? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is so this cabin is just a place like a, I would say maybe a portal for you to make it easier to connect with others.
Mm.
Would you describe this place more in detail for me as you enter this place? Describe if there's anything inside.
There's a lot of textile, like a
Mm-hmm.
bohemian style connection with lots of pillows and those meditational circle chairs or
Mm-hmm.
pillows,
Yes,
um, carpets.
beautiful. Mm-hmm. So as you enter this place and you make yourself comfortable, this is your place of connection.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, beautiful. Are you aware of anything else that you would like to share with me?
I believe that I can make this place an astral temple.
Mhm. With that feeling that you have in your mind, um, is that something that you feel that you can do now?
Yes.
Mhm. And this will automatically, this tent will be open for you to connect through the astral, for you to travel to different places,
Yes.
the higher self, if at this time is ready to communicate with us today.
I'm ready.
Thank you. Thank you for coming forward. This place, this beautiful cabin that you have shown Jaslyn today, um, she said that she could use this um, cabin for her to connect. Can you tell her a little bit more about this red cabin that she can go into? How can I assist her in connecting?
This astral temple is for her and the Red Tent Goddess Society,
Mhm.
the sisters, to go to so that they can all connect and meet in their light body. It is surrounded by a circle of light and the elements, and it's for them to all send in their spirit guides, their angels, their higher selves, and connect to this area whenever they need to.
Mhm. Has has Jaslyn used this tent before? With
No.
mhm. So this is a gift that you are providing her today.
Yes.
Hmm. So they can all um, as they meet, connect inside this red tent cabin. Mhm.
Cottage. Yes.
Cottage. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for that beautiful gift to her today. And could she also go into this tent with the intention to connect with anyone with, within her team?
Yes.
Hmm. This will make it easier for her.
Yes.
Well, thank you once again. It's a pleasure being here and speaking with you today. So much has happened to Jocelyn since we last met, since she came over for her first session. Some of the things that she has developed and that has taken place within her that she might not be aware of.
She has been opening her inner eye, connecting to her pineal gland and decalcifying it.
Mhm,
She has opened her psychic abilities more and more.
mhm.
There's still more to come.
Okay. Will it, as she continues doing what she's already doing, this will naturally happen for her? Or do you have other recommendations that you would like for her to implement?
She's doing rather well. She's got to keep reading, keep integrating, keep doing what she's doing. And the next step, she's already heading in her direction to have a non toxic lifestyle.
Mhm. Okay. Could you expand more into what you mean by a non-toxic lifestyle?
So, Boyke has a garden of many plants, and Jasmine gets to integrate plants into her life, herbalism into her life, being aware of what toxins the service to self entities are keeping people in 3D and taking those out of her life as much as possible. And of course, the next step will be to create a community where the service to self entities cannot touch her and cannot touch her friends and her soul family.
Okay. Would you like to expand more about what you would like to see her and her partner um, practice with this group that they have created, the Red Tent?
They've already gotten the answers of doing the Red Tent Coven and continuing in that way, and they both are learning more mystery school teachings to include in there. We have given them the gift of the astral temple, and for them to continue to learn together from there, whether they are in person or online.
Okay. Well, thank you. She really appreciates all of this information being brought to her um, to look forward to. So her first question is Boyk my angelic twin?
Yes.
What does she do up there?
Well, just as Jazan has accepted being the goddess of compassion and catalyst, Boyk does something very similar. She works with the angelic twins' energies to be able to help the 3D fractal souls, to be able to help them move forward so that it's easier for the 3D beings to connect and let go of their traumatic experiences and be able to move forward into higher spiritual developments. And a lot of her work is balancing harmony and divine feminine practices, just like Jasmine is connecting with Boyke to do in 3D.
Okay. The cottage, the Red Tent Cottage, is the best place for her to connect with Boyk, to have a more open line of communication with Boyk.
The red tent cottage will be a way to go higher in dimensions,
Mm-hmm.
depending on which dimension they'd like to visit. They can open doors in the red tent cottage.
Mm-hmm.
It is easy for Jasmine to think about as a police box from Doctor Who to connect with. There is no time or space in this vicinity. All of it can be created and expanded upon whenever she wishes, and whenever any of her sister wishes. So each sister in the red tent could have their own area in the red tent cottage, their own room in the red tent cottage, and connect to their higher self and ask any questions they would like to further their experiences.
Mm, thank you. She was mentioning to me earlier today that connected actually with a spider that has been showing her how to use this grid or web. What would you like to add to this new skill that she's also practicing?
Anything with a thread, anything that is like a rope or a string, a guitar string, as another example. All of these items for women in general, they can use their hands to connect to the web, imagining the web everywhere in life, imagining these silver threads between every person and every experience that we have from heart to heart. And through time, you can learn how to harmonize the webs, learn how to move with the web, learn how to connect to different planets from the webs, and even astral project if they would like to, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
The web can help them to go to the red tent cottage if they learn how to use it. They can also meditate to go into the red tent cottage. Plant ceremonies is another way to get to the red tent cottage. The red tent cottage can be a place where the crystal grid can be brought down so that they can experience another dimension.
Mhm. How can she do that? What would be the process for her to bring in that?
The red tent cottage.
No, the web.
Jasmine connects easily. For others, the first process is to work with the threads, work with anything that they feel called to, weaving, crocheting, knitting. And another process is to bring energy, to give and receive energy from the pineal gland in a snake format to the third eye and back. Decalcifying the pineal gland will allow them to connect. All women, when they become crones, can also become weavers.
Thank you.
Jasmine knows that she has to go to Ireland.
To Ireland. Is this where her ancestors? She has ancestors there.
Some, yes.
Mm-hmm. And when she goes there to Ireland, what would you like her to visit and do there?
She will go to sacred ground where Sheena Nagig was, and she will find a rock formation circle where she will feel the crystal grid coming into her space
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Okay.
And she will find some of her own history.
Is this circle? Was this circle used to travel? Is this like a portal?
Yes,
Mm-hmm. Okay. And for her to go into the circle to connect?
yes.
Mm-hmm. What will take place, like for her, once she connects inside the circle? Uh, what will happen?
She will be able to astral project much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Something will open within her.
Mm-hmm. And she can take that gift and skill
Yes.
with her. Okay. Thank you. What was the initiation like in the Eleusinian mysteries in my past life in Greece with Claudia? Can you show her a little bit of what was taking place then?
The initiation in those days had blood sacrifice of what seems of a boar or a pig, as well as a chalice for their own blood. There's a lot of blood mysteries happening in Greece. There was a lot of elemental and Greek mythology connections. First, she connected with Persephone and Demeter. Persephone she worked with longer. She was able to communicate with them, channeling them. She's always been able to channel rather well.
And in this lifetime, they are to work together as sisters. Okay. Can you Are you showing her visuals of
Yes,
this place? Hmm. So she's able to see all of this as it was taking place.
she's seeing examples.
Hmm. Okay. What can I learn from my past lives in Egypt that can help me now?
It is important to understand that Egypt wasn't always a desert, that once there was a forest. So her soul was quite confused when she went from forest to desert, and there were temples in the forest as well as the desert. The temples had initiations within them, labyrinths within them.
Mhm.
One of the temples she loved to visit for had a library of information,
Mhm. Okay.
and especially through crystal work.
Okay. Is this a book that she could go, a place where she can go and visit and become more acquainted with the crystals?
For Yusuf and Jaslyn, it would be nice for them to go visit
Mm-hmm.
and see the history. There is one Dominion soul in a statue in Egypt that Jaslyn will be able to connect to.
Okay. And as that takes place, um, will information be given to her? What would take place?
Information.
Hmm. How many current lives am I living?
3.
Can you tell her a little bit about those lives?
One isn't serious. The other, something to do with water. She's very connected to them, and even same timeline for the serious one. And the water, it was in the past, but it's happening now.
Mhm. Tell what exactly is the life that she's living in the water? What, is she a water being?
She's learning to have connections with the water element.
Okay.
It's one of her weakest
Is,
elements.
this is one of her nature elements lives that she's.
It's an type of elemental life
Mm-hmm.
to connect more with water.
Yes.
She's only had about 0.7 billion years in the water element. She's had many in the air, many on earth, many with the earth element.
Mm-hmm.
And the third is fire. The least amount is water. So we have her connecting with water in another life at this time, which is helping her as well to heal her relationship with water and connect with it more and more.
As she does that, are skills developing on her to use these elements?
Yes,
How will they be used? Be helpful for her to use?
water is the element of emotions, of stability, And it also has a lot of power in it to be able to understand that through time, catalyst can be created through water. And emotions can do a lot of damage or do a lot of good. She is learning how to use her emotions in a gentler way to heal others and herself.
Very interesting. Can you tell me more about working with the web of life?
Right now, the next process for her is to learn the sounds that each piece of the web of life make and how to harmonize them. So instead of her having to touch a web and go visit the other side to find out what it is, she can harmonize with it, touch it, and hear the sound it creates to know what's on the other side. It will save her a lot of time and effort.
So if she would know without having to go there what is there on the other side.
Yes, she. It would help if she got a sound bowl or something that creates sound.
Mm. What would you recommend for her to use?
A sound bowl, a singing bowl.
A singing bowl? There's two. There's like the glass and metal. Any one in particular?
The crystals,
Mm-hmm,
the crystal singing bowls.
mm-hmm. Any sound in particular? Because the singing bowls they each have like a frequency to them.
And each frequency that she starts to connect with, she will figure out what that frequency means
Mm-hmm.
and be able to connect it to a piece of the web.
Okay. What elements are in my matrix and how many years in each?
We mentioned water, zero point 0.7, air, she's had over 5 billion,
Mhm.
earth, between 3 to 4 billion, and fire, about 3 billion.
Okay.
Some she's been able to connect to different elements. We've given her air in the very beginning. That's where she started.
Mm-hmm.
And through time, we were able to give her air and earth to ground her and bring her to spirituality. So that's why she has both very strong. Since she had two elementals, and then we included a third elemental, and we're working on including water, so that she could be balanced.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. What percentage of lifetimes was I a natural healer?
Close to 80%.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Could a lot of these skills be brought forth for her? She's been giving a lot of these skill sets to use now.
Yes, she is.
Mhm. Are they going to be naturally using them? She'll be guided, or do you feel she should take courses to develop more of these skills?
She's already doing a mix.
Okay.
There is a power in her womb,
Hmm.
and she is learning to connect to that one.
And that power in particular, what is that used for? It's for creation.
For manifesting,
Mm-hmm.
for creating ideas, projects, plans, birthing. And the last one is to help the energy on planets. Soon she can become a planet herself
Mm-hmm.
and hold space for other beings.
What kind of planet would she be? Okay. Did each planet have different purposes for existence? Can you tell her a little bit more about what would her planet be for, created for?
It depends on which super galaxy she chooses,
Oh, okay, okay.
but the main point of planets in general, not all of them,
Mm-hmm.
is to move the service to self energy to service to others and to help people spiritually evolve.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Thank you. Is there anything that we didn't ask you today that you feel is important for Jocelyn to know?
She is on the right path. She is to integrate for the next month all the information she has gotten in the last 2 weeks and otherwise.
Thank you so much for that information. Is there anything more that you add to Jocelyn before we move to the healing part of the session?
And she is to give herself foot baths at least once or twice a week. She will start with one and learn others by a book.
Okay. What? How does that benefit?
Since reflexology, since the foot connects with each part of your body, when you do a foot bath or a foot soak, the herbs will detox each part of your body through the foot bath.
Mhm. Thank you. I have a question. So, am I speaking with Boyke? Is this who it is that I'm speaking with?
Yes.
Mhm. So, Boyke, she says that you are her angelic uh, twin. Is this another way also of saying that you are like you are her higher self as well as her angelic twin?
Yes.
Okay. Do most people have that? Like the higher self is the angelic twin,
Every person has it.
but we are usually calling it the higher self. But this is another name that can we can use as well.
People have difficulty connecting to the word angelic twin.
Okay.
So people most often connect with higher self. But the person that you see in a near death experience at the end of the light is always your angelic twin slash
Wow,
higher self.
that's awesome. Okay. So, boy, it was a pleasure once again to speak with you. Thank you for all of the wisdom and knowledge that you brought forth, and of course, the healing. It was an honor speaking with you again. Welcome back, Jasleen. How are you feeling? How are you doing? So, how do you think about today's session? Do you remember the information that came forward? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes? Very good. Hold on.
Hi, look back.
Huh?
I was laughing at me.
Oh, so overall, what do you think about